Behind that injury, one who misses the feel of his jump shot and spending time with friends on the court. It's not enough just to heal. He needs to get back out there. At Trinity Health, we're here to help you reach your goals. We combine all the knowledge and expertise of a national health system with personalized health care that treats the individual behind the injury. Because we see all of you.
The Great Fire of 1835 forced most insurance companies to close, but not us. The day our founders pitched in to pay every claim is the day the Hartford became the Hartford.
At Lux Bond & Green, we have been designing and crafting custom jewelry for decades. It's an art as much as a science, and really there's no room for error. It comes down to 100 little choices made by our own artists and experts who listen to you and create your perfect engagement ring by hand. Quality, value, and selection. Lux Bond & Green Jewelers throughout Connecticut and Massachusetts.
Hartford Athletic would like to thank the Mandel JCC of Greater Hartford, the official fitness center of Hartford Athletic. Visit mandeljcc.org to learn more. Last Fly is the leader in airport parking at Bradley International. Save 20% by pre-booking on lastfly.com. Last Fly, a proud supporter of Hartford Athletic. Time to check the starting lineups for our match tonight. They are brought to you, as always, by Liberty Bank. And for both these teams, Mark, they're switching things up a little bit.
Yeah, no Deespe or Beckford, the injured pair for Hartford, a hamstring injury and a back problem. So the back three is still intact. A straight swap with TJ Prestus, former captain of Yale, coming in to partner Scarlett and Farrell. Momo Dieng will be used off the bench tonight. Obalola and Ingalina will be the fronts.
And as far as Detroit's concerned, they played on Wednesday, so Danny DiCio changing things up a little bit.
Yep, there's obviously Darren Smith, who will lead the line, but there is support and plenty of it. They've got pace in attack, but a few changes after that midweek US Open Cup defeat at Chicago Fire.
Most notably, no Jay Chapman, who spent time here in Hartford last year. No Connor Roots, who has been a starter all year long. And no Stephen Carroll, their captain, sitting this one out as you look at Carlos Herrera. And there is Anthony Siaha, the man in charge of the match tonight. Our referee is Kalen Radosov. The assistant referees are Zeno Cho and Jackson Krauser. The man at the table, Laszlo Sandler. Beautiful night here in Hartford, 69 degrees. Winds blowing gently. Good crowd on hand, and we're certainly happy you are with us. Just the third home game of USL play for Hartford. Of course, one of them was postponed, the Indy 11 game, and we are underway. It's been a terrific season thus far for Detroit City, and they are tied for third, as we showed you, in the East. It'll be a Detroit throw-in, a little confusion at the start. So we saw Hartford get off to the good start last week. Angelina sends it wide. We saw Hartford get off to the good start last week, scoring on the set piece with Jordan Scarlett from the corner kick. But what do they have to do better this week than last?
Defend better and protect the defense. That starts with the front two. Today, it's Ingalina and Obalola. They're just as important as the three at the back.
Obalola almost capitalized on it. Hartford with the ball a lot. 10 is Carriaga. 22, TJ Prestus getting his third start of the year. Carriaga taken down. Let's get to the Hoffman keys of the game.
Yeah, I've already spoken about the Hartford keys to the game, and for Detroit, Wednesday happened. There's no loss, or no shame in the loss. to Chicago Fire, an MLS team, but their away form has just been so good, and they'll be confident in getting all 3 points, even with a changed lineup today.
Hartford controlling the ball early on, but an errant pass will result in a Detroit City throw-in for Reese Williams. There you see our officials for tonight. Reese Williams, no relation to Ryan Williams, number 39, Ryan Williams, who was part of the inaugural season here in Hartford and was an extremely popular player with the Athletics fans.
A couple of ex-Hartford players on the bench tonight for Detroit.
Matt Sheldon.
Jessiel Cedeno.
Cedeno had been a starter all season long. This is the first game that Jessiel has not started. There's Ryan Williams being double-teamed. And we're going to get an early booking. Let's see what we got here.
Sore one for Michi.
Michi not getting up quickly. The foul was on Carriaga, but it was on the play afterwards that Michi went down.
Foul is given for that. It's a kind of combination of Hairston and Carriaga. And the whistle had already gone when in came Amu Mensah and gave Michi a sore one.
You mentioned Marlon Hairston back in the lineup. He missed 2 games after getting injured in the loss at Loudoun. Missed 2 games in USL Championship. Into the box, Panayiotou sends it in front. Joe Farrell comes up in support. Be curious to see, Mark, how Angelina and Obalolo work up front.
Yeah, and it might mean, we've seen this quite a lot. We saw it in midweek in a lot of the European games as well, in the Conference League, in the Europa League, and in the Champions League. Teams that play with kind of split strikers. It's basically a left forward and a right forward, and that allows the number 10 just to get in front of his fellow midfielders, and today that would be Carriaga. It's something Declan Rice does quite a lot these days for Arsenal, and splits the 2 forwards and makes that run from deep.
Number 9 is Ben Morris. He had a brace here at Trinity Health a couple of years ago on June 14th, 2023. He's had 3 goals in his career against Hartford as Anthony Siaha comes up with it. Really could not be blamed for any of the goals last week. The penalty kick, obviously, on a bad foul in the box by Jordan Scarlett. The corner kick, the defense was running around behind him. And then the third goal, Hartford's defense, the back 4, inexplicably fell asleep. Called 3 ridiculous goals by Brendan Burke in our conversation with him. Trinity Health of New England, proud to be the official medical provider and title partner of Hartford Athletic. Always committed to providing the best healthcare experience every day for every patient. Trinity Health of New England, we see all of you. This is a series that has been dominated by Detroit in recent years. 3 wins, 2 draws. Although Hartford last year got a 1-0 win here on a goal by Deshane Beckford, who was out with the bad back, and then a 1-1 draw in Detroit. Hartford's had the better of possession here early on. Detroit not really pressing the Hartford back line. I saw the highlights of the North Carolina game last night over Orange County. They completed 9 passes before scoring the only goal of the game. Just some beautiful work with the ball. Now Panayiotou. It'll be a Hartford throw.
Okay. We're all looking. We're all wondering.
Now, the referee is waving Anthony Siaha. I got to make an adjustment to the goal.
Okay.
All right.
It's like hockey when
The
goal
comes off the pegs.
pipes come off the stanchion. That's a new one. Tell you, we see certain things that you don't see very often in football when we come here. Last time out, it was someone who went off on the right side who still saw a yellow card for not going off at the right part of the right side.
And that was his second yellow card of the match.
And a red card for Panayotou in the cup. And now we're seeing the goals that needed moved. It was a Bundesliga game today I did where there was a hole in the net and the second half was delayed until it was patched up with white tape. There's always something in a game of football.
You see something every time. It's like baseball. They say this about baseball. I think I've learned this about soccer. You see something every match that you've never seen before.
Yeah.
Sometimes good, sometimes not so good. Panayotou got turned around, but the ball deflected over the near touchline, so it'll be a Hartford throw-in. No score, no shots on goal, 7.5 minutes in on a 69-degree evening at Trinity Health Stadium. Thankfully, this game wasn't played yesterday.
Oh, we were due a day like this after yesterday's monsoon.
I don't know about what it was like where you live, but
2.5 inches of rain yesterday.
I saw 2 of everything in my front yard. Anderson throws it back to Prestis. TJ Prestis, who will graduate from Yale next weekend.
How good is that? Does Wordle every single day.
Yeah.
Oh, it's another easy 6-letter word.
Let me tell you, from doing it every day, there's no such thing as an easy 5-letter word.
Oh, the Brits don't like it because it's all American spellings, but that's another story.
Well, that's... If we were over in London, here's Samadia. Serves it across. Too far and taken away by LaRouche. Once again, the man to watch is 7. Darren Smith with the 7 goals on the season. Devin Amu-Mensah, number 30, acting as the captain tonight. Here's the veteran Michael Bryant. He has a goal against Athletic in his career. Samadia runs over Reese Williams. Brendan Burke doesn't like the call.
Paid close attention to the formation that Detroit are playing, and sometimes Reese Williams will just sit back. And now he's trying to get forward. They'll try and push their wing-backs forward in possession of the ball, and it becomes a back 5 when defending.
Smith tries to chase it down and does. Gets it back. Darren Smith in his first year with Detroit. Here's Bryant in the middle. First time with some consistent possession. Taken away. Nice play by Obalola. Here's Michi. Slowed down. We'll bring it back to control. Good job by Angelina there to understand the situation. Michi scored out a penalty kick last week. His first goal in some 14 games going back to last season. Hartford would like to get him unlocked.
Yes.
That's a key to their success. Panayotou can't keep it in. Reese Williams gets it and clears it back to Carlos Herrera, making his 6th start of the season. Carlos Saldana has started 3 times. Of course, their terrific keeper, Nate Steinwasser, retired after last season. Scoreless here in the 11th minute. The Hartford is back again and excited to help our team win. From kickoff to extra time, they're proud to show their support for our amazing community as a founding partner of Hartford Athletic. Visit thehartford.com to learn more. Hartford called through the offside as they were trapped out near midfield. You don't often see that big a difference, the distance. But the trap worked for Detroit. It's a team that comes in tied for 4th in goals scored with 13, tied for 8th in goals conceded with 9. Hartford still last in the league with only 4 goals scored and tied for 16th in the 24 league team with 11 goals conceded. Bryant pushing up Plays it square for Amu Mensah. Nice move to get into the box. Chipped across. Samadia heads it down, not out. Ben Morris plays it to Reese Williams. Sends it back across. Bicycle kick is missed, and Alex Villanueva, who pushed up, went down in some pain. Just missed it. Neither team with a shot yet as we hit the 13-minute mark. These teams will play here again in the Jägermeister Cup on June 28th, and then Hartford goes to Keyworth Stadium on July 12th. Jordan Scarlett got his first goal since 2022 with the goal off the corner to put Hartford on top at Charleston early on. Samadia forced off the ball nicely by Reese Williams. They're going to call Hairston for the foul. And it'll be a free kick for Detroit City.
Yeah, Hairston occupying the position that Makim Gila usually plays, the defensive midfield role, the 6 position. Hartford tonight with 3 right-footed centre-backs. Jordan Scarlett playing on the left, albeit right-footed, with Dees Pay having been replaced by TJ Prestus.
We will hear from the captain at halftime, engaging as always.
Last time you and I were together, we spoke about Hartford's number 10, Samuel Cariaga. Love him as a player. I'm hopeful that Panayotu's arrival just takes the workload off Cariaga a little bit, because Brendan Burke was telling us the story. I think it was his debut. He only wanted him to play a certain number of minutes, but the player himself wanted him to just keep going. You've got that hunger. You've sometimes just got to rein it in a little bit. Here's a first chance of the game from Hartford from a corner kick.
Alex Villanueva sent it out. Villanueva in his 100th start in the championship. So this will be Samadia from the northeast corner to the left of Carlos Herrera.
Yeah, Farrell, always a target, along with Scarlett coming up from the back. Arsenal tried this as well, and then they'll split.
Sorting things out in front of the goal. Now Samadia gets the whistle. Sent out. Ben Morris back to play it upfield. It'll be a possession for Sebastian Anderson, and he'll go back to the sweeper keeper. He likes to creep upfield, doesn't he?
Can't really creep when you're wearing bright pink.
And you're 6 feet, at least 6'5" and a half.
We had a laugh with him. We were doing some interviews this week up at Dayhill Dome, where Hartford train, and we'll be able to see Jordan Scarlett's interview at halftime and the rest that we did over the next few weeks. My first question to him is, has anyone actually ever been tall enough to measure you accurately? He's like, not really. What height are you? He's like, I'm not sure. I think I'm about 6'5" and a half. I'd take the over.
Sebastian Anderson.
He's kind of committed himself. Once you do, yep.
Call for the foul on Villanueva. Randy's Worcester Street Pizza, the official pizza of Hartford Athletic. Stop by the stadium or visit their other Connecticut locations to enjoy some of the best pizza Connecticut has to offer.
So we're starting with food tonight, are we? Okay.
We're going to start with food. Well, when we talked to Jordan Scarlett, part of the interview that you won't see because of time constraints, we reminded him that last year he promised us some of his mother's delicious Jamaican food. So far, we haven't seen that yet, and he said that would be rectified.
Some good Jamaican food in this part of the world.
Dangerous pass that time. Farrell barely got it across to Prestus.
two teams have kind of cancelled each other out just now. It's been a decent enough start for Hartford. 16.5 gone, albeit that wasn't good.
Played up ahead for Smith. Has to chase it down. Marked by Farrell. Back to Amu Mensah. As we said, Detroit had a tough night on Wednesday in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup, losing 4-0 to Chicago. Boy, a lot of players hitting the dirt here. We saw Samadia fall. I'm not sure. I think that was Carriaga who fell in midfield and set up the counter for Detroit.
I felt like I was home in Scotland, in Edinburgh, when these two teams walked out, with Detroit City wearing the maroon of Heart of Midlothian, my team, and Hartford wearing the green of Hibernian, the baddies from the other side of Edinburgh.
Baddies to you, favorites of some others.
Yes, exactly.
Here's Reese Williams, Columbia grad. So we got a Columbia grad and a Yaley matching up. And it'll be the first corner kick of the night for Le Rouge.
It's like a Vino Tinto, isn't it? It's like the Venezuelan kit, the colour that they have in South American CONMEBOL qualifying. So the first corner for Hartford was punched away by the goalkeeper. It'll be interesting to see what Ryan Williams tries with this first one for Detroit.
Ryan Williams in his year with Hartford, 4 goals, 2 assists in 26 matches. Right-footed boot on this one. Headed down. Chance for Obalola. With support from Engelina. Obalola taken down.
It's a yellow, no more. Denial of a clear goal-scoring opportunity occurs when, if the player didn't make the tackle, then he's through on goal. There's definite cover there, so it's actually a good yellow card to take. It's a frustrating one, but Hartford had a good break there, and the foul on Obalola, the yellow card, the free kick for the home side. But when you play a corner kick in like that, and it's not great, and you're getting hit on the counter, you kind of have to take this. Take one for the team. Pick up the yellow.
Alex Villanueva, his 3rd yellow of the season, is head athletic trainer Mike Diaz out there to attend to Adewale Obalola, getting his 2nd start of the season tonight. We're scoreless as we hit the 20th minute of play.
Great to see so many kids in attendance this evening. There's superhero night.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, in the concourse before the game out in the front of the stadium, they were packed. A lot of them were learning how to have dueling lightsabers as we get another look at Villanueva's takedown. Obalola had a good burst of speed.
And strength as well here, yeah.
Before he was taken down. Hartford Athletic would like to thank Nuova Pasta for supporting our Goals for Meals program. For every Hartford Athletic goal scored this year, Nuova Pasta will donate meals to help fight against food insecurity in our community. So Adewale Obalola is up. He spent the last 2 years playing in the Lithuanian 2nd tier, the Permaliga, for FK Ernas. Is that how you pronounce it? Ekranas. What happened to the K? Somebody might have forgotten to type it in their notes.
Continuing the food and drink theme, they do a wonderful honey beer in Lithuania.
Really?
Oh, yes. And your football team that I mentioned earlier, Heart of Midlothian, were once owned by a Lithuanian who then went on the run and left us in administration. Yeah. He thought he wanted to buy Liverpool.
Yeah, how'd that work out?
Clearly. Ask the boys from Boston how that worked out. Fenway Sports Group did all right out of that. Vladimir Romanov didn't.
I hear that's where they're going to send Rafael Devers because he's unhappy.
Yes, indeed.
Anderson serves it in, going far side for Farrell. And it'll be another corner for Hartford as it's knocked out over the far goal line.
I'm always intrigued by how teams line up for set plays, both offensively and defensively. So the Hartford one, Joe Farrell kind of went to the back post and then made the run. Joe Scarlett hung around. For Detroit's corner, they only had 2 inside the 6-yard box and they had 5 at the edge of the 18-yard box making the late run. This is probably going to be similar for Hartford to their first one, of which the goalkeeper punched.
It'll be Samadia.
They always spot things prior to the kick being taken, don't they? And how many times does something actually get done once the kick is taken? Very rarely, and if it is done, it's usually for the defensive team.
Farrell and Amu Mensah exchanging pleasantries. Didn't get any elevation on it, but Sebastian Anderson will keep it in. Served in by Samadia. Elevating is Carlos Herrera.
Oh.
Now we've got a little incident in front of the goal.
Yeah, there was an arm. I think it was an arm across the face of the goalkeeper to begin with. And then when they were trying to clear out, it just fell over the goalkeeper. That's why he's down. Jordan Scarlett's in there. I think it might have been him making contact. Inadvertent.
Well, there's a yellow card put up, but frankly, I'm not sure who got it. Let's look here. As Scarlett talking with Amu Mensah.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see what this shows, because I don't think he knew much about this eventually. Once the ball comes in, I do think, I mean, the free kick's been given. I think there's an arm. Well, I wasn't the closest thing, but the problem is after this. So when the ball gets knocked down...
Oh, it's going to be 12. It's going to be Bryant to get the yellow.
Yeah, and he did. It looks like he pushes Joe Farrell.
Yep.
So a kind of straight arm. That's why he's been penalised. A sore landing. The ball comes loose. Farrell's then pushed into the goalkeeper. And now Marlon Hairston has joined, we think, Michael Bryant in the book. All much ado about nothing, but hopefully the goalkeeper's okay.
So a little set two in the 24th minute as they sort it out. There's Marlon Hairston, the veteran
he's
from Jackson, Mississippi.
Just having a word with the two captains here.
Kalen Radosov, who did the U.S. Cup game between Rhode Island and New England on Wednesday night. So Bryant gets a card. And as you said, Marlon Hairston gets booked for the third time this year. All put in motion. Ferreira's trying to. Ferreira went down on his own volition. There was no Hartford player around him there. Hairston doesn't look to be pleased, but I don't think Marlon's got much to argue with there. Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. Distilled 6 times till it's just right. Tito's is known for great vodka, giving back, and doing good for dogs. Distilled and bottled by 5th Generation Incorporated, Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, and of course, savor responsibly. So Herrera looks none the worse for the collision between his tuchus and the ground.
The replay suggested not much contact from the ball across, and then he gets thumped because Joe Farrell gets pushed into him. But after all that, 2 yellows, and on we go.
On we play. Here in the 25th minute. Still waiting for our first shot. This is a Detroit City team, middle of the pack in shots attempted. Hartford last with just 42 shots in the first 6 games, and that's been an issue. Boy, another dangerous ball sent back. Farrell aggressively gets ahead on it before Sebastian Guenzati, one of the all-time leading goal scorers in USL history. Currently 7th with 75 goals. Here's a threat along the end line. In front, Scarlett can't get a foot on it. And a shot goes wide.
Just a word there about Jordan Scarlett. He'll put his head where others won't put their feet, but there comes a time where he's a little bit too leggy and he's flailing a little bit. So he chases it there. That could easily, if he made contact, have been a penalty. And he swings the leg round. He's fortunate not to make contact there as well. We saw last week it was a clumsy challenge after the opening goal had been scored to give away the penalty which Cal Jennings scored. Just got to be a little bit better when he's under pressure in that penalty box, because it doesn't take much for the opposition to feel anything and to end up on the deck in any game.
Sebastian Guenzati with the foul near midfield. Marlon Hairston, coming off the injury, took a little while to get up, but he looks none the worse for the wear. Hartford Athletic would like to thank Lux Bond and Green, jeweler since 1898, celebrating life's special moments.
Mother's Day tomorrow.
Yeah, hopefully everybody's mom has a special moment tomorrow. Do you want to reveal on nationwide television what you've got planned for Mrs. Donaldson?
Yeah, I'm working.
That's the best gift you could give her.
I'm out her way.
Into the box. Bryant plays it back to Herrera as Obalola couldn't get control of it.
Tell you, Rhys Williams has got away with that. He just waited for that ball to come to him, and Samaria didn't.
Detroit City with the first shot of the game, that one that was taken from just inside the box. Of course, last week, the second goal for Charleston came on a shot from about 22 yards in which it looked like Siaha was screened out. And, you know, Danny Dicchio and his troops will have taken note of that as Samaria can't keep it in front of the Hartford bench.
He's well travelled, Danny Dicchio. He was a really good striker. He was a handful. He used to have long hair and a ponytail when he played in England with Queen's Park Rangers. But once it starts to go, you should really just get rid. I just need to take my own advice and do that one day.
Stolen by Rhys Williams. Here's Guenzotti. Chips it across. Cleared out. We're going to have another yellow card.
No. Just a strong challenge. It's a foul. It's actually really good defending by Sebastian Anderson. I like to look at him since he came in over the winter period.
Well, Scarlett not happy with Darren Smith there, and now talking to Villanueva, who's been involved in a lot so far in the first 28 minutes and 10 seconds.
I'd like to see Hartford with more of an out ball. We've seen that a couple of times of late, the long diagonal ball over the top. Chance to run onto it, but so far the game's kind of been played in the middle third of the park for both sides.
Hartford with 3 corners, Detroit with 2. Neither have amounted much. Long ball played up the field. It'll be taken back by Smith.
It's a good ball.
Played up ahead with space. Chipped across far side. It'll be run down by Detroit City, right in front of the Hartford supporters section, and played off Obalola, out of bounds.
Tell you what, there'll be a few golfers at Quail Hollow next week that would take that as a chip. It nearly went 100 yards. PGA Championship.
Yeah, you'll be there for the worldwide leader. Look forward to hearing your commentary.
Mr. Phil Murphy will be in this chair.
America's pinch hitter.
One of the best in the business. He's here next Saturday. Swapping the Sports Center chair for a seat alongside yourself.
Let's say he wins in that situation. Detroit with numbers.
That looks like it's one of those when Ben Morris is kind of about to pull the trigger, his leg is just caught in Ade Obalola's body, and he's appealing for a free kick. The referee's actually been really good so far. Oh, we've got a mic near the fourth official. This could be interesting.
That is Laszlo Sandler, who you're hearing in your living room. It's our game tonight. The WTNH Youth Soccer teams of the match are the Bethel Youth Soccer Association U11 boys and Vale. Along with Mark Donaldson, I'm Joe D'Ambrosio. Sir Thomas of Stanwix, our brilliant producer, having escaped the monster trucks in Bridgeport. Bobby Kaplan, our director, and our terrific power station crew. Prestis plays it off Rhys Williams, or rather off Guenzotti. So it'll be a Sebastian Anderson throw-in. Half an hour in, what do you make of what we've seen so far?
No, not in a bad way. I think it's two teams that are pretty much cancelling each other out. I'm fascinated by what Detroit are doing with their formation. It's a 4 at the back, it's a 5 at the back, it's a 3 at the back. They're always on the move to try and get more bodies forward. From a Hartford perspective, the game's been too narrow for them. Get it wide, get it in. We haven't seen that very often today.
Samadia cuts it to the middle. Here's Carriaga.
So there's an example of a lack of options. Samadia is making his way over to the left-hand side. This is bodies all over the place here.
Scarlett goes down. Paniotu looks hurt. Foul called on Smith, and Paniotu might have popped a hamstring.
Yeah, that's a concern.
Here in the 32nd minute, Mike Diaz on the field for the second time tonight. And Hartford's going to get somebody warmed up, maybe Junior Moreira.
Yeah, you don't take any risks. And you saw him just feeling the back of his left hamstring. That's a shame. He made such an impact on his debut in the Jägermeister Cup. Coming into the side on the Thursday and scoring twice on the Saturday. It looks like his race is run. It's going to be Momo Dieng. Now, I like this change from Brendan Burke because we've been speaking the last 5 minutes about what Hartford could maybe do a little bit better. And I just feel that they need a focal point in attack.
Let's see what happened to Jack here.
It's actually worse when it's a no-contact injury as well. That's not a good one.
You worry about that.
So, Dieng on for Panayotu. 3-4-3, you would imagine, or they have that option to do that. They now have the focal point in attack. They can now go a little bit more direct. Because right now, with the way that Detroit are defending and defending well, they're not really being troubled by anything Hartford have got to offer. That might change now with Momo Dieng coming on.
First time this year that the 21-year-old from Senegal has not been in the starting 11. As Brendan Burke said, he wanted to give Momo a chance to watch a little bit from the bench, maybe unlock what's been stopping him so far this season. Leads Hartford with 8 shots, but only one of his shots has been on target. That's the one that went in.
It all depends on the grade of the hamstring injury, and hopefully it's not a tear, but it's not something that's allowing him to continue, and will probably keep him out next Saturday as well.
There's Brendan Burke. Momo with the hook for Paniotu. There's Adewale Obalola, who got the start tonight. I would think they'll take him right into the locker room. Jack Paniotu, one of the players we had a chance to talk to this week, very engaging. Young man from Cambridge who's had a lot of soccer in the first 20 years of his life. So Hartford with the first of their 5 substitutions.
I'm just watching the head athletic trainer, Mike Diaz, and his cohorts. They've gone straight to the Gatorade bucket to get the ice to put in a bag to put on the hamstring for Panayotu. So I wondered as well, they're going to take him inside. They've just got him sat down in the technical area and they're getting the ice prepared.
Sebastian Anderson called for a trip on the far side. Boy, players have been hitting the deck. There's Amu Mensah in it again. Watch the trip.
Yeah, just stands on him.
Against Guenzati.
It doesn't help the flow of this game, does it? It's been a bit stop-start.
No, it does not. We've been like stuck in neutral for much of the night. They try to play it in the box. It'll be a corner kick.
Yeah, it was good from TJ Prestus because they'd kind of fallen asleep. There's a bit of a communication breakdown there that they're all trying to work out who should have had the pass and who should have tried to stop it and cut it out in the first place.
Third corner of the night for Detroit City. They bring Amu Mensah. And Dominic Gasso, number 24, we have not mentioned yet. Hasn't played a match this year.
Good from the goalie.
Good job by Siaha to extend that frame and prevent any problems with that corner. Seeing a primary care provider regularly is essential to your health. Trinity Health of New England and Trinity Health of New England's primary care providers offer comprehensive preventative care from regular checkups and screenings to addressing health concerns. Making an appointment is easy. Just call 1-833-CU now. That's 1-833, the letter C, U, Y-O-U, now. Or visit trinityhealthofnewengland.org/primary care. Scoreless here in the 37th minute.
Another stoppage.
We have had a lot. We've seen the referee, Kalen Radisov, in a lot. Ryan Williams, the ex-athletic midfielder, called for the foul. That's a sloppy pass by Joe Farrell. Taken away by Reese Williams. Jang runs over Bryant. Foul is called.
This all started by Detroit pressing with 2 in attack against Hartford's 2, and it was the poor pass from Joe Farrell looking for Jordan Scarlett. And when you've got a right footer playing on the left side of the fence like Jordan Scarlett is, he needs a better pass than that from his teammate.
Morris plays it back. Detroit looks to switch sides. Another Hartford player is down.
Sheesh.
That's Obalola. And once again, we like Mike Diaz, but we've seen a little too much of him in the first 38 minutes of the match, wouldn't you say?
Referee here's had to do that. He's a head knock. You got to stop it.
Right. But I mean, he's just. We've had too many guys go down.
I'm looking at the clock at 38 minutes now, and thinking how many minutes added time are we getting at the end of this first half? Because of those 38 or so minutes, I can't imagine the ball's been in play for even half of that.
So you get a look at Mike Diaz talking to Adewale Obalola. You're going to look in his eyes.
Hartford's home form's really good. They've only lost 2 of 11 since last June. That was against Loudoun in October. And this season against El Paso, which I thought they were unlucky to lose. The problem's been on the road for Hartford. They've lost all 4 away from home in the league this season. And it's something Brendan Burke's very aware of as well.
So, momentarily, it'll be 11 v 10. And as you mentioned at the start of the broadcast, Detroit tough on the road since losing here.
Oh, they've been very good.
Last July 31st, they're 7-1-4.
Yeah, very good.
Turned over. Angelina steals it away from Morris and plays it back to Prestis. One thing Brendan Burke likes about TJ Prestis is he seems to make the right play all the time. Obalola with a nice move to dispatch Ryan Williams.
Yeah, I like his bravery there. He's not frightened to try something and try and create, because if you can get past a couple of them, it does open things up. I want to see more from Mishi and Galina. Yeah, we haven't seen too much of him so far, but he's got to get more involved. I mean,
there's a takedown on the far side.
First of all, Detroit thought they should have had a free kick. It might have been. Referee didn't give it. Now there's another body down. There's zero flow whatsoever to this game. Now we've got Momo Dieng on for the unfortunate Jack Panayotu. Hartford going with the 3-4-3. I'd like to see them be a little bit more direct to get it to that front 3.
Well, that was one thing that Brendan Burke talked about when we visited with him on Thursday, was the fact that he wants to see them be more direct, but so far that hasn't taken place.
Yeah, not all the time, but use it as an out ball. It just, it looks uncomfortable with Jordan Scarlett playing on that left-hand side, but needs must. Dispay hurt.
He'll be out for a few weeks with that hamstring. Don't forget he missed time earlier this year, and he sat out a game due to a red card, his 7th in league play. Nice anticipation that time by the veteran defender, number 4, Shane Wheat. Smith plays it back. Once again, they attack from the left against Prestis. Chipped in front. Second header. Ooh. Kept in the air. Players go sprawling. How many times have I said that tonight? Hartford with a counter. Here's Engalina. And just, I don't know if he thought Jang was cutting there or not, but wasted opportunity for Athletic.
I just think he's lacking confidence. When you lack confidence, you overthink things. Hartford got a break there. Mishi's got the ball. Momo's gone through the middle. Cariaga, if he waits a little bit longer, Cariaga's an option as well, but it was a nothing pass in the end from Mishi. He's not going to get away with 90 minutes of this. He'll be hooked if he continues like this.
Hartford Athletic would like to thank our founding partner, Travelers. Thanks to Travelers, presenting partner of our community ticket program. Children from underserved communities throughout Greater Hartford are able to come to the matches free of charge.
Good crowd tonight.
Yeah, perfect night, as we said. Beautiful weather. Is it a little too warm for you in your Scottish blood?
No, it's the pollen that's killing me. This time of the year in New England with all the wonderful growth in the gardens and everything. Oh, my goodness, eyes stream. There's always something to moan about, isn't there?
That's why we do what we do for a living.
Yeah.
Bryant tries to play it across and does. Into open space. No score as we approach the 44th minute. Good hustle that time by Obalola. Adewale has shown a good job of coming back and helping on the defensive end.
Yeah, he's been the better of the two who started as the forwards between him and Mishi.
Now, Amu Mensah puts one on goal and tipped away. Devin Amu Mensah with a bullet from outside that Siaha had to be aware of.
That was just a really nice move. It was the little layoff there by Ben Morris, and then the space. He's just struck it perfectly. It sat nicely, and it's a really good save from Anthony Siaha. But when football breaks out, that's what can happen. That's a delightful ball by Morris into the stride as well. The pace on it was perfect, and then the hit was decent. But Siaha, there's his brilliant save of the game, because he usually comes up with at least one in every match.
Alex Villanueva on the southwest corner. So we hit the 44th minute. Farrell gets ahead on it, and it'll be a corner on the other side. I would guess 6 minutes of Brignall Vineyard stoppage time.
I'll say 5, but I think it'll be plentiful. I'm just looking forward to the halftime highlights because I don't really know what they are right now. I've got 2 notes, and that's for a yellow card and then 2 yellow cards.
So this time the corner comes from the right.
And that will go down. That shot is probably the only half.
It's been confirmed. Brignall Vineyard stoppage time, 7 minutes. Sent towards Bryant, heads it back, shot is blocked. Prestis blocked that. Amu Mensah. Jang with a nice defensive play.
Yeah, really smart from Momo.
Momo taken down. Brendan Burke wants a yellow.
I understand that, yeah. He's suggesting that could have been a promising attack, and another referee might have given a yellow card. I mean, once you got a tug of the jersey, that is a de facto yellow card. He got away with that one there. That should have been a yellow. 7, wow.
So if this was the Price is Right, I would win, because I didn't go over the retail price. But it's not, so we were both wrong.
You can beat Bob Barker. You're closer in age.
Well, don't state the obvious. No score, and so far for Detroit, that was their first shot of the night. Or that Detroit actually has 3 shots. Hartford has not been credited with a shot.
That was the best one.
Obalola chases it down. Here's Cariaga in support. Plays for Anderson. Tries to send it through. Cleared away.
Offside.
Offside anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered. So it's Detroit with 3 shots, 1 on target. Hartford does not have a shot yet on Carlos Herrera. And that pretty much keeps with the pattern that talked about earlier, and they're the last in the league in shots.
Yeah, we've had this issue before with Hartford, and look, it's easy to identify what the problems are. Let's try and come up with a solution. Let's find a way why they can trouble goalkeeper Carlos Herrera a little bit more. And their best bet right now, from what we've seen in the first half, is from set plays. You spoke about Michi and Galina, who scored the penalties, not scored from open play, in 14 games or something?
Exactly.
That's an issue. It's the creativity that doesn't come from set plays. And look, I don't mind being a little bit more direct, especially when you've got pace in attack. I haven't seen any diagonal balls for the wide players to run onto this evening, and it's been very easy for Detroit. They've been very comfortable.
Guenzati can't control. Taken away by Sebastian Anderson to the captain, who we'll hear from at halftime. Samaria. Up ahead to Engalina. Knocked over the near touch line by Reese Williams. Samaria serves it crossed. Anderson fell down. And we've got another whistle.
Wow. Okay.
Anderson gets a yellow.
That's for mouthing, I would imagine. There's nothing else he did there. That's... Yeah.
First time Sebastian Anderson has been booked. So we've had 2 Hartford players and 2 Detroit players put in the book. And I will guess they will not be the last ones tonight. So both Anderson and Hairston for Hartford, and Villanueva and Bryant for Detroit, playing under the duress of a yellow card.
I was impressed a little bit more by Hartford's last attack. There was a little bit more movement, whether it was Samadi on the left-hand side getting into space. He then got the ball. The minute he got the ball, it was Momo Dieng who thought, right, I need to get into space in the middle of the box. That's what you want to see more if you're Brendan Burke in this second half. A little bit more pro-action from the players rather than being reactive and waiting for things to happen. Go and make it happen, whether it's Ingalina, whether it's Samadia, whether it's Dieng, whether it's Anderson, or whether it's Obalola. Any of the players trying to provide width or trying to provide attack. Go and make it happen.
About 4 minutes into our 7-minute stoppage time in this scoreless first half at Trinity Health Stadium. Nice interception there by Carriaga. Joust for the ball, won by Detroit. As Mark said earlier, it seems like most of this game has been played in the middle third. Samadia cuts to the middle, tried to dribble through 3 and lost it to Detroit.
They've played the better football in the first half. They're all coached side under Danny Dicchio. But they've hardly let Darren Smith have any of the ball. Hartford have defended him well, don't get me wrong. Hartford have been excellent in ensuring that he doesn't see much of the ball. But you've got to do a better job if you're Detroit in getting the ball to your top scorer.
They try to go over the top. Prestis heads it in the direction of Hairston, but beaten to the ball by Detroit City. And it'll be a Hartford throw-in off the turnover by Ben Morris. Halftime, we'll hear from Jordan Scarlett. We'll have USL news and notes. And I would say look at the first half highlights, but that would have to indicate there were a few. Here's a nice ball played up ahead, but Scarlett with good anticipation.
Let's move the ball quicker. In the last few minutes, Hartford have done that. Yeah, okay, that's a mistake. That's fine. Get back and get into shape, but move the ball quicker, because Detroit have been very good when they've moved it quicker and played a bit of football, but runners off the ball as well.
Approaching the 7th of 8 minutes of stoppage time in this scoreless first half. Played up ahead. Scarlett heads it away, but not out of danger. Ryan Williams taken down by Samadia. He throws his hands up. Now Reese Williams sends it in. headed down. Farrell was going to make sure that didn't get through. Hartford's passes have been a little bit on the sloppy side over the last 10 minutes or so. Obalolo wanted to make sure that the referee knew that ball was not off of him.
Yeah, the referee apologized.
Here's Adewale, but ball taken off his boot and stolen away. Hartford has not spent much time in the Detroit attacking third in the last half hour or so.
And they started the game pretty well. It was a bit like last week at Charleston.
Played up ahead. Shot from the 18, blocked again by Prestis. TJ Prestis, so good at blocking shots. The two-time All-Ivy League selection at Yale, where he graduates from next week, and that'll do it. So a rather mundane first 45 minutes, except Jack Panayiotou went out with an apparent hamstring injury. We had 4 yellow cards and 4 shots, all the shots by Detroit. Anthony Siaha made the one save in the first half, and at halftime, it's scoreless between Hartford Athletic and Detroit City. Back with our halftime activities next here on ESPN Plus, MyTV9, and WTNH.com.
If anyone thinks cancer is going to define you, they've got another thing coming. We know you are more than someone healing their heart. At Trinity Health, we know the importance of seeing the person behind the patient, the fear, the joy, the journey. Bringing you the expert medical teams and state-of-the-art technological advancements of a national health system, along with the personalized care that helps you feel better. Because we see all of you.
The Great Fire of 1835 forced most insurance companies to close, but not us. The day our founders pitched in to pay every claim is the day the Hartford became the Hartford.
Welcome back to Trinity Health Stadium. The highlights, such as they are next, my friend.
Well, if you're a Hartford fan, I'm not sure how many of these next few highlights you will enjoy.
Fans doing a nice job waving the flag.
This was an interesting one. There might have been some contact. Then Farrell gets pushed into the goalkeeper after the whistle's been blown. Good goalkeeping from Siaha. Whistle went there, as it has done on many occasions in the first half. That's what you want, a goalkeeper that tall and physical. Command your box. That's a brilliant save from a really good effort from Amu Mensah, but it was the little pass by Ben Morris that was outstanding.
Halftime stats, as you can see, over the beautiful moon. Shots, all for Detroit. Shots on target, all for Detroit. The possession numbers, really. 2 yellow cards for each team, in Hartford with the only 2 offsides of the first half. When we come back, USL News and Notes and our conversation with the captain, Jordan Scarlett. Scoreless in Hartford between Detroit City FC and Hartford Athletic.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Today we went to the beach, and it was totally worth it. Stay 2 nights, get a $50 Best Western gift card.
How does Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water keep you in the game? We always source our water directly from the natural spring to fuel every body, no matter how you like to move it. So whether you're chasing your goals or just staying active this summer, make sure to stay hydrated with Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water. Always bottled at the natural spring source.
An injured knee might look pretty simple, but there's a whole person behind that injury. One who misses the feel of his jump shot and spending time with friends on the court. It's not enough just to heal. He needs to get back out there. At Trinity Health, we're here to help you reach your goals. We combine all the knowledge and expertise of a national health system with personalized health care that treats the individual behind the injury. Because we see all of you.
News and notes, it's like the 1960 World Series again. Pittsburgh eliminating New York to get to the round of 16 in the U.S. Open Cup. New threads for United and Lou City FC, third kits. And we send our best to referee Terry Vaughn, as do his fellow pro officials as he battles Huntington's disease. Last weekend in the Low Country, it was Jordan Scarlett who got the scoring started for Hartford. We visited with the captain earlier this week.
Anderson sends the service, knotted down, gets over the line. Hartford has grabbed the lead less than 5 minutes into the game.
What's the biggest thing your mom taught you growing up?
Work before play. So she had moved to America before me. I was still in Jamaica, and she always ends every conversation with that: work before play. It's I don't really care how long you play, when you play, just make sure you get your work done before. So it kind of translates today in my, I would say, like, my daily habits in terms of I focus on my recovery, I focus on the warm-up, focus on the work. So once I get home, I could watch all the TV I want, I could do whatever I want, talk on the phone, because I've got the work done.
You've gone through injuries in your career. A couple season ending last year, you couldn't play at the beginning of the year. What's your mental strength that enables you to continue to work through those and know that you're going to get back?
I think it's just learning. So each injury gives you a chance to learn, to know, okay, you missed out on doing that work last time, so now we could catch up on this one. It's also just knowing that when you get back, you're going to feel this brand new beginner's feeling of welcoming back to the game. I think that carried me through, but also it's doing the hard things is kind of easy for me because that's my default setting. If it's not challenging enough, sometimes I kind of don't want to do it, you know?
You turned 30 this summer. What would 30-year-old Jordan tell 20-year-old Jordan, who was at Reading back in 2015, if he had the chance? Nice easy questions for you today, huh?
I would tell him to play at the center back position much earlier. I feel like in college, I was attacking mid, then a defensive mid, then I played right back. Then at my senior year, then I finally started playing center back more consistently. So I would definitely tell him to kind of get more seasoned at the center back position. So one, there'll be more eyes on you, but two, you'll be also more adaptable to the position more earlier, you know?
Left-footed shot, and a save made by Siaha.
How has the chemistry worked with Anthony, new keeper this year? Yeah. He's played great. Yeah. How has that chemistry worked? Because obviously, in a center back, you've got to communicate, and you've got to have good chemistry.
Yeah. It's always easier when the guy you're playing next to also wants the best for themselves. That's just come easier because if he could push it himself, that kind of take the weight off of me because I know, okay, if I'm supposed to get beat, I could trust my keeper. He's here every day, shows up to practice. He's doing everything he's supposed to do. And plus his communication is phenomenal. That takes a lot of me. I think communication is such a big part of, like, I think it's lost in football a lot. People don't talk about that a lot, but like just him just working harder is like telling us left, right. That takes us so we could focus more on what's in front of us. Everything is very intense, and then he makes big saves in games, so that kind of like just kind of translate over. And then off the field, we talk about these little things, what position he wants me to take up in the box and set pieces, how he wants me to shape my body if I'm in a 1v1 situation like that. So I just think just us wanting to be good and wanting to get to the highest place we could get in our career, I think that makes everything easier.
When Joe and I do the commentary, a number of times we've kind of seen Anthony encroach further and further forward. Do you think there'll come a time you'll be the Hartford player who's furthest back because he's maybe got a bit too... If that happens and he gets a bit further forward, what would you say to him?
There's times when like the play's dead and we were talking to the referee, and I'm talking, and out of nowhere I just saw this big pink jersey right beside me. I'm like, wait. And I look, I'm like getting it, but that's just his personality. Yeah. Like, he wants to be involved. He wants to get his point across. Mm-hmm. We talked about that. He knows that's a risk, because if they put the ball on and play fast, then that's risky. But we also know that we could stand over the ball and keep it. But that just shows you how much he wants to be involved. He doesn't want to miss any details, because we'd prefer to talk about it now than waiting until it costs us 3 points to talk about it later.
Charleston game obviously didn't go the way you wanted, but for the first time in 2.5 years, somebody scored a goal. What was that feeling like? I've been talking about it since last year. I think just in the off season, I've been really working on attacking the box and set pieces, getting more goals. I plan to have 5 this year at least. I have 1 already, so that's a good start. It's just the set piece coach Joe Lucas working with me and showing me the easiest position that's the other team's weaknesses, and just me just getting there with just being aggressive. But it's definitely a relief, and I'm feeling it again to go get 1 more this Saturday.
This week on USL All Access, look back at the week that was and an action-packed week ahead.
Rodrigo Lopez from Sacramento Republic joins us to talk his return to form, hopefully Republic's return to Open Cup glory. Mark Briggs, former Republic manager, now in the Eastern Conference with the Birmingham Legion.
No one knows it better than Roro and Mark Briggs. They're back together again, only on USL All Access.
If anyone thinks cancer is going to define you, they've got another thing coming. We know you are more than someone healing their heart. At Trinity Health, we know the importance of seeing the person behind the patient, the fear, the joy, the journey. Bringing you the expert medical teams and state-of-the-art technological advancements of a national health system, along with the personalized care that helps you feel better. Because we see all of you.
The Great Fire of 1835 forced most insurance companies to close, but not us. The day our founders pitched in to pay every claim is the day the Hartford became the Hartford.
Welcome back to Trinity Health Stadium in the capital of the Nutmeg State. Our game tonight brought to you by the good folks at LDI Connect. Enter the Prinks Tires Tailgate Kit Sweepstakes for a chance to win a prize pack worth up to $3,000. Scan the QR code on the screen. It'll be coming up on the screen. There it is. To enter today. The Prinks Tires Tailgate Kit Sweepstakes. Jenny Ambrosio, Mark Donaldson, and the crew here at Trinity Health Stadium. So if you're Brendan Burke, you like the way that you defended Darren Smith, never gave him room, but you have to do something to facilitate the offense.
Yeah, the first 50 minutes of the second half is going to be interesting because he's had an opportunity now that he's brought on Momo Dieng, who came on for the injured Jack Panayotou, to maybe come up with a plan to get Momo more involved, because The last couple of days will have been spent with the starting 11 and various things, and that's now changed, and Dieng has come in, and he's more of a focal point in attack. So I think this next 50 minutes will tell us a lot about what was said at half-time and how they can involve their forwards a little bit better.
And if you're Danny Dicchio from Detroit, what's the message to La Rouge?
Find Darren Smith. Give him the ball. Ben Morris coming short, played that really nice little reverse pass that found Amu Mensah. Their movement's really good, Detroit. I want to see more from Guenzati. I think he's someone that can unlock the Hartford defence, but just find Darren Smith. Once that ball's in the box and he's on the end of it, the likelihood is he's going to score, but he's not going to score if he doesn't get the ball.
There is Darren Smith waiting to start the second half. Detroit 4-1-3 for 15 points, tied for third in the East. Hartford looking for that elusive second win of the season. This begins a brutal stretch of the schedule for Hartford. Coming up after tonight, they are home next Saturday for Louisville City. Then they go to Indy 11, have a cup game at Westchester, and then are home the entire month of June. North Carolina FC, Charleston Battery, Loudoun United, and then a Jägermeister Cup game against the same Detroit City FC team.
I think Hartford are a better team against better teams. We spoke about this last season. They always seem to do better when good sides come here. It's when they're forced to have more of the ball than the opposition that sometimes they struggle.
They force the ball back. Carlos Herrera, teammate with Anthony Siaha from Monterey Bay City FC the last couple of years. Detroit controlling in the midfield. Here's Alex Villanueva. He got one of the 4 yellows handed out in the first half. 24. Dominic Gasso playing his first game of the season in his third year with Detroit City.
Hartford have got a little bit more energy about them in that midfield since Obalola just dropped back a little bit following the injury to Panayotou. Offside?
Got offside against Detroit, trapped by the Hartford back line, so it'll be a Hartford kick. Just the start of things as you look at the veteran, Sebastian Guenzati, the 33-year-old from Montevideo, Uruguay. Have you been to Uruguay?
No, I've not, but I remember them against Scotland in the 1986 World Cup, and they had a man sent off inside a minute. Oof. That takes some doing.
Hartford tries to play it up ahead, and it's going to be a corner for Hartford.
Offside.
No, they call offside. So it will not be a corner for Hartford.
Do you think we can get 60 seconds without the whistle going of the ball in play? Because the first half we didn't get that much at all.
I would say no. You look at some of the fans. Young man appears to be enjoying the action on the field.
It's dark. Sunglasses. Alphonso Davies was celebrating Bayern's title win today in the Bundesliga with sunglasses on and looked cool. So,
well, the song says I wear my sunglasses at night.
Indeed. Let's not have 2 old men talking about modern day fashion, right?
No, I don't think that's a wise thing.
No.
Here's Jang, call for the push.
I get that. It's a stray arm. It's frustrating if you're on the end of it.
So the table official, Laszlo Sandler, went up to talk to Brendan Burke, and Brendan gave him the Heisman. He extended the arm to say, I'm going to stay my peace.
Well, it was Momo Dieng extending the arm that
caused the foul.
Caused the foul.
I don't think that's what Brendan was signaling.
No.
To Laszlo. Jang running laterally across the pitch. Hartford trying to get this offense unlocked, looking for their first shot of the night. Turnover. Detroit on the counter. Play it wide to Guenzati. Up the left side against Prestes. Overlapping Villanueva. Gets it back to Guenzati. Sebastian Guenzati had pretty much been used like a Swiss Army knife so far this year. Hadn't started only games. Came in only having played 83 minutes in 6 games. Nice play by Jang. Anderson goes backwards and turns it over.
I watched a little bit of Anthony Siaha in the warm-up before the game, practicing not the kickouts but the throwouts, and it was that throwout there for Momo Dieng. It's just a quicker way to get possession of the football and send it on its way. He was trying to reach halfway from the edge of his 18-yard box and succeeded a couple of times, so it's another weapon.
Carriega gets ahead on it.
He's been quiet today.
Yeah.
You've not mentioned his name much.
Taken away.
As much as we can talk about the referee blowing his whistle constantly, he's been given reasons.
Well, exactly. I was just going to say
it's not his fault. He's not done much wrong at all today, the referee. It's just the players haven't really been on their best behaviour. There's been a lot of these bitty little fouls. And they get called by any referee.
Stats say there have been 20 fouls called thus far. So here's a potentially dangerous set piece. Detroit, 7 players lined up along the 18. Punched out by Siaha using that size advantage. Reese Williams, nice ball up along the far side. Mensah plays it to the 18. Shot, diving save, rebound. Cleared out of danger.
Really good from Prestus.
You know, we saw him make a play on the goal line in the Jägermeister Cup to save a goal against Portland Hearts of Pine.
I've seen a few defenders in my time commentating on football like Prestus, and he'll have a good career in the game. He might not be the quickest, but he can read the game very well.
Hartford, meanwhile, having a hard time getting out of its own end.
That's more like it.
Now they play it long up the far side. Play on. And then Galena can't control.
I don't mind that from Michi, though.
Hartford keeps possession. Obalola.
He slipped.
Called for the foul.
Yeah, when he was slipping, he's caught the man. Just going back to the earlier ball to Michi, that's where he can do his work, but he needs the ball to get the chance to cause problems. It's a good effort from Darren Smith, and he's having to come outside the box to actually do something. Good save from Siaha, and then a really good anticipatory block from TJ Prestus.
Fans, join us for our next home match next Saturday, May 17th at 7 p.m. against Louisville City as we pay tribute with Veterans and Military Appreciation Night presented by the Travelers, as well as everyone's favorite $2 beer, $1 hot dog night presented by Modesto. Don't miss out. Get your tickets today at HartfordAthletic.com. You know, it's embarrassing when you're not here and Murphy's here on $2 beer, $1 hot dog night. He'll go down to the concession stands before and, like, get stuff and put it in a bag and bring it home with him.
Wow. I sense that's not true, but it's a good story.
Sounds good.
It does.
Devin Amu-Mensah wearing the captain's band tonight. Stephen Carroll not selected after playing the full 90 on Wednesday night in Chicago.
Deep squad he's got. Danny Dicchio.
Played into the box. Detroit maintains possession. Villanueva, far post. Headed over the goal line. Goal kick Hartford.
It's not something Brendan Burke has the luxury of, is it? A deep squad. Last season there were a lot of numbers, but it was definitely quantity over quality. This year he's tried to trim it back a little bit. It's harder to keep everybody happy when you've got a large squad, but maybe you could do with one or two more options on the bench. You've brought on Momo Dieng for the injured Panayotu. Kind of tweaked the formation a little bit, albeit Obalola just drops back, but you now have a focal point in attack. But you look at the bench and Kyle Edwards is the only real alternative with pace.
Amu-Mensah sends it towards I-91, so it'll be a Hartford throw-in. They get it into Anderson. Or rather, Carriaga. To Farrell in the middle. Once again, if you're just joining us, no Arturo Dispe. Nice cut. Chip towards the middle. Headed out. Kept in by Hartford. No Arturo Dispe. No DeShane Beckford would be another option off the bench. Here's Galena. Nice job to get it in, but it's sent to the roof of the suites, and it'll be a goal kick for Detroit City.
I would add the word very ahead of nice job to get it in. That was an excellent bit of play from Michi. He didn't really have many options. He was triple teamed. So if you're triple teamed, there's going to be space for somebody else, but you just got to get the ball in, and he did that well.
The Fix is Connecticut's premier standalone IV vitamin therapy boutique, offering customized intravenous vitamin infusions and intramuscular vitamin injections that maximize health, performance, and recovery, with all services administered by licensed registered nurses. Located in West Hartford Center, visit thefixivtherapy.com to learn more.
Michi might need some of that.
This is like the fourth time we've seen trainer Mike Diaz out on the pitch. I was reading my commercial copy. Did you see what he did there? Did he cramp up?
He's delivered the ball in, and again, it's one of these, it's a non-contact.
Hartford lost Jack Paniotu midway through the first half.
Yeah, Beverly Makingila and Kyle Edwards are both getting ready to come on. I think his race is run. So, Makingila and Edwards, you've got the pace of Edwards, and Makingila will go into the 6th position, and that'll allow Marlon Hairston just to get a little bit further forward. So, I think this is a good move from Brendan Burke. Something had to happen in this game. Something had to change, whether it's enforced, whether the plan was to make the changes regardless, or...
You wonder if Michi re-injured the leg that he injured at Loudon that cost him a week.
Maybe, yeah. I don't want to speculate. I thought he did really well to get the delivery in, but I don't see this as a negative, these two changes for Hartford.
So Kyle Edwards will play for the 6th time this year.
Yeah, you see the strapping on Michi's thigh. He just seems a bit disconsolate right now, a bit dejected, a bit sad, which is sad to see because he's a player that...
And he goes right to the locker room.
Yeah, he does, and Hairston's coming off, so he's just doing a straight swap, Makingila. Michi Angelino is a super talent. He really is, and he's got so much ability. But like so many forwards in this game, if you go on a bit of a drought, and you go on a streak where you haven't scored in goodness knows how many from open play, 14 now for Michi, it can get to you. Sometimes all you need is one goal. It wasn't to be today for Michi. So 2 changes for Hartford.
And no surprise that Hairston came out. Brendan Burke told us he would be on a minutes restriction tonight, coming off injury. He too was injured in the loss at Loudon down in Virginia.
I think with that change, I think Makingila actually strengthens you in a like for like, because Hairston's best position is maybe a little bit further forward.
Farrell direct for Jiang. Headed to the near side where Detroit will take over, and Amu Mensah will play it up towards the middle. Race for the ball. Scarlett will get there first and sidewind it back to Siaha. Haven't seen as much wandering from Siaha tonight. No score shots. Heavily in favor of Detroit. Hartford has 1 shot on the night. Detroit has 8, 3 on target. And now Jang is down in pain. What is going on out here? Here's Guenzotti. Catches up with it on the side. Plays it back. Williams chips it in. Headed away from danger by Joe Farrell.
He's hurt his shoulder. It's his left shoulder, Momo Dieng. He was up pretty quickly, but he's kind of walking with a gait.
Villanueva. Cuts it back towards the middle, gives it to Gasso. Gasso with the spinorama move on Carriaga. Dominic Gasso has never scored in his 3 years with Detroit City. Gets it back. Plays it back to Morris. Detroit stringing together some passes, but nothing forward. Cleared away. Kept in by Detroit. Knocked down by Macangila, and Scarlett will play it. Detroit gets to it first. Joe Farrell will play it over the far touchline. So Detroit putting on advanced pressure, or advanced possession, I should say.
It was where he hurt his shoulder. I think he's actually run into Amu Mensah. Amu Mensah's done absolutely nothing wrong. It was something that, yeah, he's still not right. That's a replay. Hopefully he'll be able to shake it off.
There's a shot, airmailed over the goal. Goal kick, Hartford.
Just want to go back a couple of minutes, and Hartford had an opportunity to clear Macangila at the back, and it was before Farrell had to clear it out. He hasn't got any options. His closest pass was like 10 yards away, and there was already a Detroit player who was close proximity. So the movement off the ball needs to be better, Hartford, to provide more options for the defenders to maybe go long.
Hartford forming up the attack in the middle. Samuel Carriaga.
I want to see that quicker. I mean, that's 2 or 3 touches from Obalola. He's made his mind up he's going to cross it in, but just took too long. Just speed play up. Hartford have got the ability, and they've got the players to do so. Just too many touches.
We'll get the long throw in from Sebastian Anderson. We've seen this throughout the season. We'll throw it into the box. Hartford brings Farrell and Scarlett up. In the air, Herrera off his line to play it. Tries to go deep for Smith in a foot race.
It's not.
That ball's out of bounds. It'll be a Hartford throw-in. Flourish is proud to be the official catering partner of Hartford Athletic. They provide healthy and delicious catering, meal prep, and takeout. Visit them online at flourishhartford.com or stop by their flyby location at 72 New Park Avenue in Hartford.
I'm with Danny Dicchio there. That was right in front of him, and even from up here it didn't look like it was out, and it was right in front of Dicchio. But from 40 yards away on this near side, Zeno Cho flagged it, and Danny Dicchio heard by the pitch side microphone saying, how on earth does he know that's out when he's that far away and it's clear that it's not?
Over an hour in, no score between Hartford and Detroit City. Hartford off to a strong start. Here they come now, Carriaga with support on the right. Here's Edwards, gets a shot and sends it way wide.
I think that should have gone left. I think left was the ball. There's 2 Detroit defenders on Kyle Edwards. If that goes left, Hartford have got numbers out wide. Doesn't come to anything through Kyle Edwards because there's 2 players there, and it's a missed opportunity. It's when you don't have that many opportunities in the final third, you've got to make the right decision, and that should have gone left.
Carriaga has been more active here in the first 20 minutes or 15 minutes of the second half. Foul in midfield.
Samadia was the player who was the option on the left-hand side. He wasn't happy with his teammate for not releasing it to him.
Macangila gets run over. Taken down by Ryan Williams.
What's the foul count at now?
A lot to a lot.
Yeah. Too many.
Well, it disrupts the flow of play.
Yeah, you know what? Detroit win this 1-0, Hartford win this 1-0. They won't care what the game's been like. It's just as a spectacle. It's
Hartford
tough.
has 12 fouls. Detroit now with 10. So Hartford pushing everybody up but Siaha here. Chipped into the box. Never gets through. Headed away. TJ Prestis was even up. Led back to Macangila. Now Anderson. Carriaga in space. Plays it to Obalola. Tries to go through the defender.
It's good strength. He's a strong boy.
Yeah, for somebody who's seems smaller than 5'11", which he's listed at. Hartford with some consistent possession time in the Detroit half, though now they press forward with Macangila. Players hitting the deck. Detroit on the counter, but there's Obalola to disrupt momentarily, and then a nice tackle. Got a lot of the ball. Fans like that. And then Hartford slows it down to form the attack. Here's Kyle Edwards. And again, just sends it aimlessly over the goal line.
Both Cariaga and Anderson are raging at Kyle Edwards. We're speaking about decision-making and picking the right choice. Composure required. You're just on. You've got the fresh legs, but there's also better options for you there. Use those better options.
Westfield Bank, the regional community bank focused on its customers and their financial security, the communities we share, and the teams we root for. Westfield Bank, what better banking's all about. Online at westfieldbank.com. Member FDIC.
3-4-1-2 for Hartford right now, with Obalola playing in behind Kyle Edwards and Momo Dieng, width provided by Samaria and Anderson. It's a good shape that suits the players that they have. They just have to make better decisions in the final third. That's twice from Kyle Edwards.
Dieng came in for Paniotu. Boy, that one almost knocked Cariaga down. Here's Smith in some space.
That was the Yale special.
Gets it on goal and knocked away by Anthony Siaha on the most dangerous chance of the night for the league's leading goal scorer, Darren Smith.
Yeah, guess what? Things happen when you give your top scorer the ball. Now, yes, he's had to come a little bit deeper and outside of the 18-yard box to get possession, but it's a shoot-on-sight policy for him, and once again, Siaha up to the task.
So Ryan Williams will trigger from the right of Anthony Siaha, unofficially corner number 6 for Detroit. So they pack the goal line. Never gets through. Played back for Williams. Chipped into the box and cleared. Second header played by Obalola, looking for the tireless Cariaga. Players hitting the ground like 10 pins. Joe Farrell goes down. Foul on Detroit. Their 11th of the night. Guenzati was the one who sent Farrell to the turf. 67th minute, no score. And to use a hockey term, Mark, it might be a greasy goal that decides this one. Obalola had Amu Mensah's shirt like he was going to take it to launder it. Foul called on Kyle Edwards, who doesn't like the call, by Zeno Cho. Looked like he hit the small of his back as he hit the ground. So, Villanueva will leave. He will be replaced by Haruki Yamazaki. And also Connor Roots coming in the match for Guenzati. So, subs 1 and 2 of the night for Danny Dicchio in this scoreless tie. Connor Roots with 2 goals on the season. This is just the third match for Haruki Yamazaki. He started last time out against Indianapolis, his first start of the year, but coming off the bench tonight. And that is way wide. It didn't work well for Carlos Herrera. So, I'm not an analytics guy, but the expected goals for Detroit, 0.53 for Hartford, 0.15. what that tells you is we haven't had much offense tonight.
And it tells you of the offense that we have had, Detroit is more likely to trouble and find a way past Anthony Siaha.
Come across on the far side to Amu Mensah. Gets it back. Wheat to Bryant. Detroit counters. Hartford, though, doing a pretty good job marking once they get to midfield and not giving Detroit much space. But Detroit patiently trying to probe, and Amu Mensah just plays that one off his boot. Unforced error on the captain for tonight.
A bit of frustration there. Carriaga was wanting Momo Dieng to come towards him to give him an option to take the throw, but Dieng stayed where he was and said play it back.
Into the 71st minute without a goal. They've not had as many stoppages in play here in the second half. Good anticipation by Amu Mensah, but it'll go right. Well, it was headed for Joe Farrell, but it's taken away from him by his teammate.
By the way, he puts in some amount of work in a game, Adi Obalola.
Yeah, his amount that he's worked tonight is at a high work rate. Hartford throwing on the far side. Price Chopper is an official partner of Hartford Athletics. Soccer fans, save 15% with your Advantage Edge card off general admission tickets to all Hartford Athletic home games here at Trinity Health Stadium. Visit PriceChopper.com for more details on this amazing offer.
Yeah, Hartford wanted a free kick there. I didn't think it was one.
Into the box. Chipped across. Anderson gets taken down. And Siaha's not happy with the referee. Mr. Radosov. Let's see what has Anthony all upset, and Joe Farrell as well. Push in the back by Yamazaki.
Going up the other end before that, there was definitely contact. Carriaga just didn't feel there was enough for it to be a foul. Brendan Burke disagreed. Fine, no issues. But the referee waved play on. He didn't think there was enough either.
So we continue in the scoreless tie, approaching the 73rd minute. Crowd anxiously waiting for some action at the Hartford offensive end, but it's been few and far between. Here's Jang, gets a head on it. Herrera comes off the line to get it before Momo can scoop it up in the box.
That's the thing, the way Hartford are right now with the players that they've got and the formation that they're playing are better suited to create something in this game.
Looking for Smith. He runs onto it. Sends it in. Through ball. Shot save.
It's been lively since he came on, Yamazaki.
And a nice ball dummied through here. Behind Rutz. Yamazaki from the spot. Right into the chest of the 6'5.5". Siaha.
He's a character, isn't he? Good chat with him during the week.
We enjoyed him.
Lovely guy.
Has his own clothesline.
He does.
Detroit started to get the run of play here. Hartford playing on their back foot a lot. Here's Gasso. Taken down. That's not a good foul there.
Yeah, you're right. Unnecessary. Why? That's just common sense. It's the ill discipline that can cost you. It's things like this. They score from a free kick. Brendan Burke's not happy, and it comes about by a stupid little challenge like this. It's totally unnecessary.
It's Obalala.
And he's been good tonight. He's eager. He's got a brilliant engine on him. He'll run all day. But the problem is the brain. Sometimes with the football brain, the eagerness, just the challenge. You don't think, you make the challenge, and then you make the mistake. This is right on the line of how far out is too far out. I think this is within range for Ryan Williams.
Williams to trigger. Hartford with a 4-man wall, 10 yards away. The referee's going to get out the can of spray paint and tell Hartford where they have to be behind. I'll tell you what, the spray paint can industry has increased their sales tenfold since soccer officials started using that. Shot bounced in and played on the volley, one hopped by Siaha. Nice throw to start the counter. Played up ahead, but Yamazaki, who's come in with a world of energy. Headed down. Anderson plays it back. Prestes clears it up to Jang. He gives it away. Intended for Cariaga. So once again, Detroit with the ball here in the 75th minute. Here's Morris. Can't get around Prestes. Good job by Prestes. Boy, he's so fundamentally sound.
Very solid today, TJ.
And now he's down.
I think in this game, the substitutions have actually helped both sides because Connor Roots for Detroit since coming on has certainly made an impact. He's given them that little bit of effervescence in midfield. Yamazaki has come on. He's already had a shot. The left-sided player, the right-footed shot that was saved. From a Hartford perspective, Momo Dieng came on for the unfortunate Panayotou in the first half. His movement off the ball is something he really has improved during his time here. And Makingila, just a steady presence in the number 6 role.
It's summertime at On the Border. Come in for $10 endless tacos and a classic watermelon margarita available today at your local cantina.
$10 endless tacos.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
I've not tried a watermelon margarita. It's one of the margaritas that has not tasted my tongue yet.
You a fan of watermelon?
I love watermelon, and I love margaritas.
Well,
so you would think that would be a good combo.
Hartford thought that should have been their throw. Cariaga, once it goes the opposite way, no point in just holding the ball and standing around with it. Get back in position.
Who will crack first? That's the question. Will anybody crack? Prestes with the header. Second ball. Played forward and a foul on Hartford.
Yellow card for Obalola.
His second yellow of the season. Third yellow against Hartford tonight is an athletic trainer, Maureen Lilla, comes on the field. As you watch Obalola, he got a hand up in the face when they were in midair. I think we have another sub ready to come in. So the former Hartford Athletic midfielder Jesse L. Cedeno ready to come in for Shane Wheat as they trade a little offense for defense.
Ben Morris, I think.
Or Ben Morris, I'm sorry.
Ben Morris is going off 9 for 10. How many times do you see players coming back to their former club and ending up being the main narrative?
You see Jesse L. had the game-winning goal this year against Phoenix in the 90th minute. Jesse L. made Hartford off the open tryouts, and then 2 years ago, he was traded to Oakland for Edgardo Rito. Trade that did not work out for Hartford.
He had something. He just couldn't defend.
Well, and they played him back as a defender.
Yeah, well.
Throw in for Amu Mensah.
Just shows you, doesn't it? He came through open tryouts. Hartford are very good at that. They had the open tryouts, and 2 or 3 players came through to the first team as a result of those. Where anybody can just show up, show them what you're capable of, and you might end up with a contract.
Roots wastes the throw-in. We've seen some sloppy play here tonight, Mark. Some just plays that are made where it doesn't guys don't look on both sides where they're just not sharp.
We'll get a change for Hartford. Jonathan Jimenez coming on.
Haven't seen him in a couple of games. The Norwalk native.
Brendan Burke's got to be happy with the way his side is defended this evening. And I know Detroit have had the best opportunities, but they've been pretty solid at the back. And that's the foundation. If you know that one goal's likely got a good chance of winning you the game, the last thing you want is the mistakes that Brendan was speaking about from last week, and 3 of the 4 goals totally preventable. There's no way you're scoring 5.
Played up the far side. Chipped in. Edwards can't get ahead on it. Jang. Taken off the goal line.
That is brilliant defending.
And a foul on Hartford.
Yeah, the player who's down, I think, was the player that got the header, Michael Bryant. It was really, really good. Momo Dieng with the deflected effort that was looping. With 10 minutes to go. This is a decent opportunity for Hartford. Once it gets up in the air, it's a case of who's getting there first. That's brilliant from Michael Bryant. He's under pressure, and he does really well.
Jonathan Jimenez will come in for Carriaga.
No, you're right. And Obalola thought it was him. But you're right, it was Carriaga.
Dayhill Dome, the place to play. Open to all ages and abilities. Rent the facility to run your own program or register for one of theirs. Either way, they welcome everyone to experience the best sports facility in the region. Visit dayhilldome.com to learn more. Jody Ambrosio, Mark Donaldson, Tom Stanwicks, Bobby Kaplan, and our crew. Into the 82nd minute of a scoreless tie. Hartford with numbers. Here's a good run. Jimenez maybe held on to it a second too long.
No maybe about it. He's just on his first touch and he finds himself free. He's got 2 to his left and he keeps burrowing this furrow down the right-hand side.
Now Anderson kicks it off a Detroit player, so Sebastian will utilize that long throwing ability of his.
Yeah, they've pushed most forwards. The only one back is Makingila with sweeper keeper Siaha.
Into the box. Farrell's header goes wide. Nice shape. Farrell just couldn't get the header on goal, and Herrera had the near post covered. Shots now 12-5. But Hartford yet to get outshot on target tonight.
But a solid base at the other end. It's turning these 0-0s into scrappy 1-0s. That's the key to success. That's the key to getting into the playoffs, not looking back and that 0-0 against Detroit or that 2-1 defeat against El Paso.
Well, and when you struggle on the road as much as Athletic does,
yep,
you have to capitalize on your home games.
And they've been good. Their form has been good, as I said. They've only lost 2 at home in the USL since last June. But it's the draws that they need to turn into wins and just picking up points on the road.
Yamazaki has his pocket picked. Jimenez has been active since coming in. Obalola sent to the turf.
That's a card.
That'll be a yellow card to Williams. That would be Ryan, not Reese.
If you remember the first yellow card of the game after 19 minutes for Villanueva,
right,
it's a good yellow card to take because it stops a promising attack.
Jang had room to run. They're making Obalola. Boy, he has been all over the pitch tonight, making an impression on his head coach.
I'm still not sure what his best position is. I don't think it's where he started. And I like him in this position that he's playing, whether it's as a 10 or as a more withdrawn midfielder. Just gives you so much energy. Now, here's a big opportunity for Hartford.
Anderson and Samadia both over the ball. Samadia 19, Anderson 2. right in the middle of the pitch, about 33 yards away. Anderson sends it in. It bounces, and it's headed out.
That was a super delivery. Referee now gives the corner. Took his time before making a decision, but that was the delivery you wanted. You've got 2 or 3 different groups who've got a chance to attack it. Gets beyond Joe Farrell, beyond Jordan Scarlett.
And TJ Prestis getting.
He did get the final touch. The question is, was he in the field or beyond the goal line? Because if he was beyond the goal line, it's the right decision. But if he wasn't, it's the wrong decision.
Tonight's Hartford Business Journal Business Alliance partner of the match is Blue Crest Incorporated. Corner kick sent in, punched out. Here's a turnaround shot, and it goes wide. Best chance of the night for Athletic, and they'll get another corner kick.
Yeah, Joe Farrell with that effort. Super save from Carlos Herrera.
Smarty didn't get much on that one, and it's played back to Anderson. He sends it right back in. Hartford maintains possession. Jimenez controls in front of his own bench. Chipped into the 18. Ball is free. Edwards can't get there. Cleared out. And we got a foul on Hartford. Jimenez called for the foul. Detroit tries to start it from about 15 yards ahead where the ball was supposed to be, and referee Callan Radisov says, back here. We're scoreless in the 87th minute. Both teams have had opportunities here in the second half. Cross field, Amu Mensah. Plays it ahead, Yamazaki in the corner.
What a chance that is. He's got to hit the target.
Boy, Siaha barking at his defense. He's a very demonstrative goalkeeper. He'll let you know what's on his mind.
Well, when no one's picking up their best chance of a goal, and a free header from 8 yards out. Oof.
That was almost danger waiting to happen.
Right.
Farrell plays it up ahead. Let's see how much Brignall Vineyard stoppage time we have. Foul on the far side.
Don't think it'll be as many as the first half.
No,
we
not
had
at all.
7.
Maybe 3, 4. Here's Jimenez. Plays it back. McIngill to Farrell. Short chip. Obalola plays it ahead.
I'd take the time here. Yeah, I'd take the time. Last thing,
hit the turf.
Last thing you want to do when you've got an option 45 yards from goal, take your time. Unless you see a clear overlap or a 2-on-1. Now things have opened up. You could play it left-hand side where Samadia is waiting if you wanted to. You could go deep for Joe Farrell.
They try to play it far side. Samadia will chase it down. Chip it to the 6. Players hit the turf. Hartford keeps it going. Jimenez sends it in. Headed by Detroit and cleared over the near touchline.
TJ Prestis was at the bottom of a pile of bodies. Not for the faint of heart in there as Hartford prepared to deliver another long one.
And it's Anderson. In the direction of Farrell. Goes over the top of the goal. You hear the crowd ooh and ah when the ball hits the net, but it was over the top. So we head towards stoppage time with no score. Detroit has already played 3 ties this season. Hartford has not had a draw yet.
It's not a bad result for Hartford. It's a clean sheet if they get that far. They can work on chance creation at training.
Brignall Vineyard stoppage time 5 minutes. Play on for Hartford. In the box. Goes over the far sideline.
He's defended well tonight, Michael Bryant.
He's had a strong game. The veteran from Elmira College and Northwest Nazarene, the Nighthawks.
Okay.
So Brignall Vineyard stoppage time is 5 minutes.
Okay.
Once again, Anderson. The long throw. Touched back.
He thought about it.
Obalola chips it across. Chipped over the goal.
It's gone kind of through Joe Farrell and to TJ Prestis, and it's a decent delivery in. The ball's in. The last 10 minutes or so from wide areas have been pretty good from Hartford. It's just falling to the wrong players.
Hartford now with 6 shots, but still none on target. 13 shots total for Detroit City. 6 on target. Stolen, but hit a little bit too hard for Jang to control. So it'll be a Yamazaki throw-in right in front of goalkeeping coach Dan Gaspar.
It's not a foul. That's good from Beverly.
Yamazaki has worked well since he's come in the match. Roots can't get it. Hartford does. Taken off the boot of Samadia. Here's a counter. Open shot. Sailed wide.
So this is all about Emmanuel Samaria. At the start, he's done such a good job to be brave, to take possession, to move forward. Then he's got to play the pass. He's got options, but he wants to take that extra touch. He runs into trouble. He loses possession. And what did Detroit do? They play it into the area that he's vacated down the left-hand side. They end up with a shot which doesn't trouble Siaha, but it's just that decision-making. I don't think they're far away, but they need to just be better decision-making, whether it's in midfield, final third, or wherever it is. That costs them.
There's a push. Another foul is called inside the center circle.
I really like the bravery of whether it's Samadia or whether it's Makangila to take a risk, to take a chance. The simple ball is the ball back in any game of football. Just have a little bit of a go. Be confident in what you're doing. We've seen a fair bit of that, but it's the decision-making. Know when to get rid.
Second minute of 5 in stoppage time, and a minimum of 5. All sorts of problems on the far side. Jimenez there to help out.
It'll please Brendan Burke the impact he's had from his subs tonight.
Bench has played well. Detroit regains possession.
There's a foul.
Williams.
Sorry, Joe, there's a foul off the ball that the assistant on the far side has spotted, Jackson Krauser. It was a push on the back of Joe Farrell. That's a good call by the assistant there. It looked like it was Darren Smith. Just a stupid challenge. No need to do that. And now you had possession of the ball, you've lost it, and it's an opportunity for Siaha to put a ball into the opposition half.
Oh, Siaha with a push.
Well, Darren Smith.
Morris,
he's saying, Smith is saying he's taken it from the wrong spot. That's up to the officials to decide. It's got nothing to do with Darren Smith. He can point out to the officials and say, hey, it certainly wasn't there.
Siaha gives Smith a piece of his mind.
I mean, that's a catch-weight contest if ever I've seen it. Good on Smith for thinking he's got a chance, though.
To the 18 it goes. Only maroon shirts there. Farrell gets a header on it. Here's Edwards. Might have been offside on the play.
Yeah, this will be stopped because the possession has changed after it hit the referee. Joe Farrell's a menace in the opposition box. He is a threat.
Joe Farrell, 19 goals in his career.
Yeah, you can see why.
As we're approaching the 5th minute of what's supposed to be 5 minutes of stoppage time. Hartford trying desperately for Jang, and Herrera gets there before Momo can collect.
Good from Beverly.
Nice play by Beverly Macangilla to slow down the attack. Macangilla with a push from behind. Sent in.
Whoa, Prestes
that
again.
Was dangerous. Prestes saved the day. It'll be a corner.
I don't know how much he knows about this. He's done so well, Prestes. It's like the heel. There you go, a back heel to get it away from trouble with Connor Roots in close proximity. Some defending still to be done, though. This is probably going to be the last play of the game.
7th corner kick of the night for Detroit. Scoreless in stoppage time here at Trinity Health Stadium. In swinger, headed up in the air, played through, drop back. Williams plays it to his right, chipped in.
Prestes again.
Knocked away by Prestes. Another corner kick.
He's in the discussion for man of the match from a Hartford perspective.
Oh, I would think, yes, no question. So the corner this time from the right of Anthony Siaha. Look at Roots and Jang in the box. A lot of pushing and shoving. Punched out, and that will do it.
That's not a bad point for Hartford. It was a good defensive header there from Jordan Scarlett. The players, the Hartford players, a lot of them are on the ground. They're absolutely shattered. They've put so much into this one. And you always have something to build on when you don't concede in a game. Scoring you can work on, but if you don't concede, you know you're guaranteed something, and that can help build momentum. And it was important to not concede any tonight after they conceded 4 last weekend.
So the first draw of the season for Hartford Athletic, the 4th draw of the year for Detroit City as the fans file out of Trinity Health Stadium. Full time, a scoreless draw between Hartford Athletic and Detroit City FC. Mark and I will be back to wrap things up next here on ESPN Plus, MyTV9, and WTNH.com.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.
Fans, join us for our next home match next Saturday, May 17th at 7 p.m. against Lou City as we pay tribute with Veterans and Military Appreciation Night presented by Travelers, as well as everyone's favorite $2 beer, $1 hot dog night presented by Modelo. Don't miss out. Get your tickets now at HartfordAthletic.com. Our match tonight presented by the Connecticut Department of Transportation's Highway Safety Office. The CDOT reminds all fans in attendance to drink responsibly and to always designate a sober driver. Remember, fans, drive sober or get pulled over. Our broadcast brought to you by Central Connecticut State University. Apply today at ccsu.edu. You look at the stats, and I don't think either team played well enough to win, and neither played poorly enough to lose.
Yeah, look, Detroit were probably the better side as far as chances were created, but they were up against a really good and well-organised Hartford defence. Biggest issue there from a Hartford perspective is the third one down on the left-hand side. 0 shots on target. Goalkeeper wasn't troubled. That's something you can work on. You build from the back. You keep a clean sheet. You guarantee at least a point, and that's what Hartford got tonight.
So, Hartford will be home again next week.